Well, years ago, and now it seems like so many years ago, we bought records to listen to our favorite musical artists and their songs. And today, the way to get to hear your choice of music is streaming. And instead of stacking records, we use playlists. So today, I'm going to discuss streaming music and creating playlists. Stay tuned. Well, this is Tech Tips for Seniors, a show with tips for seniors, or anyone really, on how to better use technology such as smartphones and computers in your daily lives. And I'm your host, Bruce Ciotta, and today's show is on streaming music and creating playlists. So I wanted to give you a little history in case you're not familiar with the music industry. Years ago, seems like so long ago, there were records, and we bought records either in 45s, which were small single songs, or LPs, which were albums. And we took those records and we played them and played them and played them. The evolution of music moved on to portability, and we saw technology, something called 8-tracks. If you're You may have caught that window where you listen to music on 8-track cassettes. Then it moved on to smaller cassettes that you would play in a cassette player. Fast forward now to when the age of memory sticks, and this technology came out, something called MP3 players. It wasn't very popular. It was really mostly used by techies, but eventually Apple came out with something called the iPod. And around that same time, they launched a store that they called iTunes. It was around 2003 when iTunes launched, and you could buy individual songs for like $1. And people did that. Like, we moved from buying records and cassettes and all the other forms that I talked about before into purchasing individual songs, or perhaps an entire album, into your iTunes music collection. And that was how you would listen to music for quite a while. Around 2005, YouTube started to launch music into their video format, and even songs, just plain songs, became available. And then around 2008, we saw the advent of true streaming when Spotify launched. And Spotify became one of the dominant players that emerged around 2010. There were some biggies that got into that market. And today, the US Spotify market has 45 million subscribers. Apple Music has 33 million, and Amazon has 29 million subscribers just in the US alone. So this is the way that people use music today. And there are quite a few smaller players too. Now, streaming is different. You, instead of purchasing individual songs or albums, you get a full collection of music, millions of songs. Almost any song or any artist can be played at any time. And in exchange for that, you pay a monthly subscription. You don't own the music like you did when you purchased the song, but instead you have the right to use that music collection for the course of that month while you pay the monthly subscription. And of course, many people are using that on an ongoing basis. They find the value in it, and they're continuing to stream music. Now, I got on the streaming music bandwagon, but it took me a little while. First, what I did was I subsisted on the free streaming services that were available. And there are quite a few of them that you can use a limited set of their service. I used Pandora for a while and Spotify for a while. Both of them offered limited service with commercials. So you could listen just like you did on the radio, but you could specify what your music genre was, or even a musical group, but you would get a mixture of songs as they chose to play them, and sometimes a mixture of artists. Amazon also was my choice for music for a while. It comes with Amazon Prime, and like I said, even Amazon, they have a limited service for free, and basically you can choose something like you pick the artist that you want to hear, and you get that artist in a Form Plus radio. So it sounds like you're asking for that artist, but you're going to get a collection of other musical artists in the same genre at that time. That's what you get for free, which is still pretty good, and it's a great way to enjoy music. With Prime, you don't even have to listen to commercials to do that. Now, also, I use YouTube, mostly for music videos. I would jump in and listen to an artist or a particular song. I think you do one song at a time, although it may be possible to queue them up using the technology that's in YouTube so that you can make a number of selections and let one play after the other. But finally, and it took me years, I broke down and purchased a subscription to Apple Music. Now, music streaming services are expensive, and Apple is no exception to that, as you would expect. They also offer something of a bundle, which they call Apple One, and that would be if you in fact have the need for the other services that come with Apple's subscription services. You get it for a discounted price if you purchase numerous of them. They also have an offer for families where it'll save you some money for multiple people to be able to use the service on the same group of subscriptions. But I chose Apple because the same reason I choose a lot of the other Apple products, and that is that I have an Apple ecosystem. I use Apple for the computer and the phone and an iPad and a watch, and so it just made sense for me to subscribe to Apple, even though Spotify is a majority player in this market. And I think the reason that Spotify is a bigger player is they were first, for number one, and number two, there are many Android users and even some Apple users that will go ahead and use the Spotify service. And I think it's a good one and it's worth looking at. But my evolution was I eventually broke down and tried the Apple Music one, and I've been happy with it. Now, I listen to any music that I want. I'm a big fan of 70s music, and I'll enjoy all the different artists that I used to listen to. I'll listen to worship music, Christian music, quiet instrumental music, and I never have to purchase music again. Like, I don't have to buy a single song on iTunes or go out and purchase an LP because I have the full collection of music that I might ever want to listen to. And I build playlists, and this was the other side of the conversation for today. I can recreate my entire music collection and have more choices than I ever could even remember. And plus, I have all the prior purchase that I've purchased through iTunes is available to me within the Apple Music app. So here's how you create a playlist if you're interested in doing that. I'd like to show the demo of that on my phone as well. Okay, so here I'm going to open my music app. And so I'll click on the music app to open it. And then down in the music app, I'll go to the library tab that's down at the bottom list of items, very at the bottom of the screen. And within library, I'm going to select playlists. And then, because we want to create a new playlist, we're just going to click on New Playlist right up at the top. So here we'll select the playlist title and just enter in new, some name that you want to use to create the playlist under. Maybe name it the type of music that you're going to put into this playlist. And then you'll hit done. And so with that, you'll see it opens up that playlist and it gives me the opportunity to add music here. Now, my preference is to get out of this menu altogether, back out of the library section, and go down to the search menu down at the bottom, right next to library. So I'm going to select search, and let's do that here. And search will give me the opportunity to enter in any artist or song, or even the lyrics to a song, or anything that Apple can use to search for what you're looking for. So here we might type in the name of an artist, and you can see the searches that I've done recently. I'm going to just put in the David Crowder Band. DVID, David Crowder. And you can see it's found what I was looking for, and it's up here at the top of the search results. Now, you may have found when you went into here that before you started to type that, it would have the option to search your library, but be careful and select Apple Music so you get the full selection of all the different music that's out there. So we'll select David Crowder Band, and then all of these things below are many different options for albums and songs that he's created. I would like to get into seeing his albums as a whole. So I'm going to select the David Crowder Band artist up at the very top. And when I select that, I'll see a selection of top songs. This would be the ones that he's known for, or some albums that are essential that people would choose, probably the most popular things that people have. I go down a little further to the section that's marked albums, and I'll select there. And here within that, I can find every album that Apple Music has in their collection for the David Crowder Band. And so I tend to recognize things by the album artwork. I happen to remember back in 1998 where he came out with the All I Can Say album, so I could select that album. And then from that album option, I can look at all the songs that are in that album and maybe select a couple of songs that I like. But my personal preference is to get the whole album into a playlist. So I'm going to go up here to the very top right where the three dots are. They call them ellipses, and click on that. And what it gives me the option to do is to add that either by album to the library, or what I want to do is add it to a playlist. And I'll select Add to Playlist, and there I'm going to be selecting the playlist I just created, which I called New. You'll have called it something that's unique for you. And bingo, it shows right down here 11 songs were added to the new playlist. And so if you go back down to your library now at the bottom menu, you'll see within your playlist choices that there is a playlist called New, and that does have that album in it that I chose. Now, you could have gone on in your search and selected some other albums that you might want to add to it, because this is where you would do it. I could go back and either pick another David Crowder Band album, or I can click on another artist that I might like. The Valley is a group that plays out of our church, and so I happen to like them, and I like all the music that they do. So again, I'm going to go down and see what they have available. And you'll notice also down at the bottom that Apple Music will select similar artists and add them to the bottom here for you. If you want to add other artists, or you're interested in hearing about similar music, you can find it there. But I'm going to go into the album section here, and I'm going to pick the album that The Valley has and add that to that playlist as well. And there I will have now 2 albums of the collection that I like in my library. So I'll select library, and you'll see under my playlists, my new playlist is got the David Crowder Band and also the Valley songs in it as well. Now, you can go ahead and keep adding songs, or what you might want to do is modify this, and so I can edit the name now of that playlist, right, to change it to something different, new music. I'll just make it a little that I like, or maybe I'll call it new Christian music. And that's where I'll click on the Done button. And it's now called New Christian Music. And if I look in my playlist list, New Christian Music is down here in that list. So that's all there is to it. If this is something that is helpful to you, I hope that you would be interested in doing it. Now, I will want to show you one more thing, and that is that if I select the playlist now from my library, I can choose to just play all the songs in that playlist, like from top to bottom if I click on the play button. And then what will happen is when you get down to the end of your playlist is Apple will find other music that is of a similar genre to that music, and they will just start playing that music in addition to what you just played. Or if you just want to hear these songs, I recommend choosing Shuffle. And if you choose Shuffle, Apple will randomly select the songs out of this list and play them all in some random order. And they'll just keep playing those same songs over and over again. So you might want to add a bunch of albums. I've added songs and albums to my playlists that get quite long, and it's an unlimited size. You don't have a limit to how big they can be. So you can just keep on adding music to whatever grouping, or create new playlists, or whatever you want to do, and just have fun with that. I hope that helps. And that's it. Enjoy your playlists. Well, thanks for joining me today on Tech Tips for Seniors. I hope you found today's tech tip helpful. If so, let me know by leaving a note in the comments section for this episode. And if you have any suggestions for future episodes, that would be a good place to put that as well. It would be so awesome if you would like, subscribe, and pass this on to a friend who can get something out of it. And also, really appreciate if you could leave a review for us. If you've already done that, thanks so very much. Remember, stay tuned for the next episode of Tech Tips for Seniors. Take care.